It's become beyond obvious that the pistols in CSGO are entirely imbalanced in the way they're implemented in the game. Certain pistols are overly strong, especially overly strong in certain scenarios. And so to set this up, what I'll do first is actually talk about the pistol balance in CS 1.6. Because the key thing there was we never had any complaints pretty much about any of the different pistols because there was an inherent balance to how they all worked relative to each other and relative to the more expensive weapons. And so it set in place this economical framework from which the game had made sense and had a nice flow to it and promoted skill and buying correctly and all these factors that the current overpowered pistols in the CSGO negate and downplay and go against and allow for aberrations in gameplay. So first of all, in 1.6, what was beautiful was there was really only 3 guns that people used. Sometimes people would use these other weird guns just as specialist weapons, but in general at the pro scene, all that people used was, if they were a CT, they used the USP pretty much all the time when they had a pistol. If they were a terrorist, your starting weapon is the Glock. Some of you will use that. Others will either upgrade to a USP, even on T side, or there's the weapon that is used on either side, Deagle. Usually used on terrorist side as the weapon for a more expensive buy, but still some form of a save. That was closer to getting into the half-buy territory. But people would sometimes still use Deagles on Ecos when they had a certain amount of money. It's about $700. Now, what's beautiful about the way these 3 weapons worked is that the Deagle was by far the most powerful pistol. It was the only pistol that, if someone even had head armor, you could kill them in one shot with a headshot. USP, you can't do that. Even if you headshot first, you're gonna have to hit more bullets into them. But the Deagle is not that great. The accuracy level of it's not perfect. You can get it pretty reasonably on it. It has sort of a reasonable area, and if you fire slowly and you aim those bullets, or you aim while you're moving in a certain direction, you can get the bullets on there, but it's not super accurate. And it's very powerful, but it fires reasonably slow. Spammed, it becomes quite inaccurate, therefore it's not worth always spamming. And so you have the choice. Do I spam and try and get lots of bullets into them, but it's less likely I'm going to kill them? Do I go slowly and try and aim and get the kill? And it's very expensive. If you fuck up and don't get kills with it, then you've wasted $700. Now you go to the USP, a starting weapon. It's very accurate when you fire it. It's the most accurate gun, in fact, in some senses. When you fire it very slowly, you can get every bullet to land. And in doing so, if you're really skilled, somewhere like Forrest or Edward, you can destroy opponents. You can just pick them apart. But it requires incredibly high skill level. The skill ceiling on the weapon's very, very high to get the maximum out of it and to get the kills with it. Now then, you can just gamble and spam away, and it's reasonably accurate while spamming, but then you have to be reasonably close range to spam, at least medium to close range, and you're probably only going to get 1 kill out of that spam. You're not going to be able to do much more. And to a degree, you're going to have to be sort of standing still. You can spam a little bit while moving, but mostly you spam by crouching and then spamming all your bullets into them, or standing and spamming all your bullets. You have to at least be immobile to do so. Now then, the Glock. Here's the most interesting one. Of the 3 weapons, the Glock is by far the least powerful. It's so weak. Tapping a bullet into someone, first of all, it's super inaccurate. You can sort of tap a bit into their body, but you're not going to aim for headshots in general with the Glock when you're firing it. Especially because if you fire at a reasonable speed, and the whole point of the Glock is you're meant to fire a lot of the bullets really quickly, you're not going to get accuracy. It's going to be going all around this massive spread area. But because of tagging in 1.6, if a bullet hits you, you get tagged a bit. So the Glock is great for tagging. So what you do when you have a USP, remember what the scenarios I was describing, the win conditions of the Deagle is either aim for their head and go for a headshot, making it worth the money because you're going to get a gun off it or kill someone, or spam it all into a guy's body and be close range, or fire slowly, or spam, you understand the conditions. USP, either you aim for the head and you're going accuracy and you're trying to get medium range but pick them off and have real good accuracy, or you're going to get super close range and spam into them. Now with the Glock, because it's not very powerful but really good at tagging, now you need to team up with people. Now you need to have multiple people, and if we're all tagging this guy, gun's not accurate, but a bunch of us, when the bullets are hitting him, he's getting tagged and slowed, and now we're all able to hit him even more because he's an immobile target trying to move, and now we can get kills, but we have to use teamwork with the Glock. The Glock is about, you have to have teamwork to be able to get kills. And even so, the Glock still wasn't that powerful. People would often go with the Deagle, or on pistol rounds, a lot of terrorists, good ones, even used to just buy a USP outright because they're going to have a better chance of getting kills with it. So the problem with the pistol balance in CSGO is that it's rendering a lot of the second rounds where someone's won a pistol round and they're supposed to buy some weapons and you're supposed to steal your own pistols. It's rendering a lot of those impotent, and it's making it so that Not only is it impotent, but you then win you win the eco round and you ultra money fuck the other guy. The whole point is, yes, if you win the eco, you're supposed to money fuck him because you've done an insane thing. He's a bad scenario, but it's not supposed to be easy to money fuck him. That's supposed to be a very difficult thing to accomplish, and as a result, that's the reward for money fucking him. If you do a gambled pistol buy better pistols and you beat them in 1.6, like you buy deagles or something, then yeah, you've taken a massive risk. You've probably executed it well using teamwork and timing and good read on the enemy, and you've gotten some crazy kills using skill. Now you get the massive reward of money fucking them over. It's not supposed to just be easy, like, oh, just buy pistols and do whatever, and we might just be able to money fuck them regularly like people do in CSGO. First problem, pistol. We won't go with the CZ. That was the pistol problem before. Now the problem is this Tech 9. To contrast the Tech 9 against the Glock in 1.6, first of all, Glock's very weak. It takes tons of headshots against a guy with head armor to kill him. Very bad accuracy. You have to move pretty much because the accuracy is so terrible that you're just going to try and move and close the distance and use tagging to slow him. Now, what's the problem with the Tech 9? It's actually very powerful. You can headshot someone from miles away. Now, the accuracy isn't very good, but the power and the fact that the accuracy doesn't really go down much while spamming and moving means that it encourages spamming and moving. Because you're moving, you to get more shots off, makes you harder to hit. Yet your accuracy is not even particularly suffering much, and it's like a little gamble. If you get a headshot, if you get a powerful body shot, you're just going to get a kill out of it. You're basically just gambling that you're going to. The headshot potential is way too much, and yet, here's the problem. It's not that the headshot potential is powerful like the Deagle in 1.6 if you aim at the head, or even better, the USP. If you put like 2 headshots into someone with the USP, very skilled, the maximum skill you can expect from the pistol, but you get a reward, right? You get a headshot, you get a kill. The problem here is you're getting headshots and you've got the potential for headshots and power to kill people, but in a manner where you aren't even aiming very much. You're aiming sort of around here and you're just gambling that within this little cloud of where the bullets can go, it's going to hit him in the head. So we're actually encouraging unskilled play. Skillless play where you're just gambling in a certain area, but you're not even aiming these bullets. We want bullets that kill people to have been aimed to some degree, or at least to have something behind them that informs them, some pattern or something. But that's not what's happening here. Even decent players are wrecking better players, but in ways that they themselves know wasn't skill. And the clip size. Now, the nerf they did to the Tech 9, one of them was to reduce the clip size. They took something like, what was it, like 9, 10 bullets off. I can't remember if it was 7 or 9, something along 8 or 10 or something like that. Took these bullets off it. Now the problem there is still so many bullets that it doesn't address any of the issues with the weapon, which is that, okay, who was ever using up a whole clip on the Tech 9? You either get the kill before then, because remember, the main problem with the Tech 9 is when you've got a Tech 9 and he's got a rifle and armor. Now, in these scenarios, if you don't kill him in the first 20 bullets, odds are he kills you with the rifle. If you do kill him within the first 20 bullets, it never mattered that you only had 7 more bullets or whatever. You were never going to no one ever gets to the end of a Tech 9 clip, a full clip, without killing someone or being killed and then rechange to the next one at the top pro level. This isn't an issue. This isn't a nerf in any possible sense. Now the damage fall off, is that a nerf? Yes, that's the start of a nerf that we'd like. Because at least now you're not able to do this bullshit, but super long range and be moving around constantly, so it's super hard to hit as well. That's a little bit of a nerf. You still have to get close range. It's not that big a nerf though, is it? Because what are the main scenarios where you would want to use a Tech 9? Well, you want to use it when you're already getting in on medium to close range. In fact, that's part of the reason why the moving accuracy is so OP, because you're going to close the distance as much as you can, and it's already powerful anyway, but the more you close the distance, the more imber it's getting, and the less powerful the rifle's getting. And so you get super close on the guy, and this is where it's most powerful, so you're already trying to do that anyway. And at the pro scene, that's where the majority of Tech 9 fights take place, medium to close range. So damage fall-off hasn't really nerfed it very much there. So the Tech 9 is, the problem with the Tech 9 is, there's almost no time on a terrorist round where you haven't got the money for a rifle, where you wouldn't buy a Tech 9, where you wouldn't run, spam all the bullets, and try and close the distance and get these unaimed kills, where you just know that I'm gambling here, and I'm going to get some body shots, I'm going to get some headshots every now and then that don't make sense. It's literally, the game's telling you, just do this. This is the best strategy. There's no scenario where there's an alternative strategy that's better. This is the best approach and the best strategy. And even worse, with the Glock, like I described, you needed to use teamwork to get these kills. You needed to have multiple people attacking at once, closing the distance, using the bad. As a result, your accuracy is going to be really bad, but you're just going to try and tag a few. This is teamwork. With the Tech 9, you can do it solo and it'll work. You can get these crazy kills solo. And because of the reason also why the clip size isn't an issue is because let's say I fire 50, let's say I fire 23 bullets and get a kill. I mean, as if you'd ever need to fire that many at the pro level. But let's say I fire 15 bullets. Now, oh no, I haven't got that many bullets left to kill the next guy, have I? Oh, problem solved, because my whole job was to close the distance. I'm going to take it on at mid-range anyway. So now I've just got a gun. I've picked up his gun. I never needed more bullets. The clip size is not the issue with the Tech 9. It's the accuracy. The accuracy is not an issue. The damage dealt relative to these unskilled shots. Like, I'd make it super hard to ever get crazy headshots while moving. That shouldn't be a case, unless you're going to make the gun really accurate, but then lower the damage potential. There has to be a balance between how hard it is to use something and how powerful it is. That's always the ultimate balance, is how much skill does it take to get this massive amount of power out of a weapon. You never want it to be, like, easy or lacking in skill or random. Those are the things we never want in balance. Let's go to the CZ, because the CZ is still overpowered. You just don't notice that much because now everyone uses the Tech 9 on the T side. On the CZ, then one of their nerfs was the animation, right? To pull out like that. Great nerf, because that nerfed people using the AWP and then having the CZ as that instant pull-out fallback weapon that they spam away. That is nerfed. Now, the CZ as a problem pistol on ecos against rifles guys with Colt is not in any sense been nerfed. Okay, they made the clip smaller. You have 12 bullets and you have 12 bullets in reserve. Who is ever using 24 bullets on a CZ and yet A, not dying, and B, not managing to get a weapon, as in get a kill and get a weapon? It's very rare that you have these scenarios, especially if you have multiple CZs on a team, that you're killing people and you're not getting their guns. So 12 bullets. Well, if we get up to medium to close range with a CZ, we're going to get that kill within the first 5 or 6 bullets, or we're dead. Therefore, the clip size does not matter in that sense. We're either dead after 6 bullets or we've killed him, and then odds are we're upgrading to his weapon. The other problem with these guns is, when you buy them, the cost seems prohibitive, right? Okay, $500. That's a decent investment, isn't it? Not really, because chances of getting a kill are way higher than they would have been in the 1.6 era of those weapons. And yet the $500 is essentially giving you a way better chance to get a $2,000, $3,000 gun by killing a guy with it. That economically doesn't work out whatsoever. You're encouraging people to always buy these guns. Again, when would it ever be wrong, if you're a good player at the pro level, to buy a CZ on these eco rounds? Unless you literally have to do a full 2 ecos to get the money to even buy a rifle, it would never be wrong. You should always be doing it. That's what the game's encouraging. There's a famous saying, okay, that's like a political statement that says something like the hallmark of tyranny is the removal of nuance. Essentially, what it is to control people, you make it so that this word only ever means this. There's no nuance, there's no interpretation, so that if I tell you, don't do this, or that is what that means, then you can't even argue with me, because I've decided this is the one meaning. You can't say, oh, well, I interpret it differently, and I think there should be more discussion over this. I can say, no discussion, this is tyranny, that means what I say it is, and if you say otherwise, then I can imprison you, and as a result, look guys, this is only what this means, therefore, what I tell you about this person is correct. In this sense, if you look at balance issues, whenever we have options removed, when there's not many options as to what to do, like you should always do this, you should always do it in this manner, and if people do it that way, first of all, you're funneling bad players into knowing what the correct thing to do is, because it's so obvious that this is really the only one choice. And secondly, you're removing options where better players might save in this scenario, and because they don't waste their money on this gun, which in my world wouldn't be as accurate, wouldn't be as powerful, and then the person doesn't get a kill, they've now been rewarded for saving, and now they get a better proper buy out of it. In this scenario, you're encouraged to gamble. You're encouraged to fire these skillless weapons in a way that doesn't have a lot of technique and a lot of skill to it. And you're encouraged to force buy all the time. And you're encouraged to attack what should be strong CT setups with these Imba guns and wreck them and get these things and throw off the economical aspect totally. And as a result, you don't have to have a stronger CT side, because you know you'll get your chances on these save rounds when you're on terrorist side. And the whole dynamic of the game, the whole structure, the whole hierarchy of the competitive integrity is crumbling every layer by layer by layer until we're left with nothing of just Tech 9s versus Tech 9s and CZs just caning in guys with rifles who are just as good players. and scenarios where people are killing someone with these pistols, but they can't even say it's skill. Just look at the fact that fucking LDLC/Envious players, who are, by the way, the best at abusing the CZ and the Tech 9, they're the ones who were complaining as well. MBK was saying Tech 9's too OP. Well, he's still going to use it. He's still going to abuse it and get kills and thrash teams like Nip and win tournaments. But even he knows this is bullshit. He wants skilled weapons, because guess what? You might think to yourself, yeah, but that's weird. Why would they say that when they abuse that? Because you know what? You take those weapons out, and yeah, they won't be able to abuse them. But then you're going to have P250s in the hands of Shox. And in a world where everyone's got a USP or a P250 and Shox has a P250, he's going to be wrecking people's domes because he's got fucking incredible aim like a lot of their players do. They don't need this bullshit. Take it out, and even these great teams, all of them will still be very good teams and will still be able to compete. So we've done the Tech 9, done the CZ. None of these are real buffs. The 5.7. The thing with the 5.7 is you'll never know it's OP because these other pistols exist. So people are abusing the other pistols. The problem with the 5.7 is that it's so powerful, the bullets on it, and yet it can be so accurately spammed. If you spammed with the USP, the thing was, it was very likely you were ever going to get headshots. And so you'd spam a lot, but odds are you're only going to get kill onto that first guy because you've got the 12 bullets and you're going to spam them all into him, and you're just trying to tag like six or seven bullets into him to get the kill. If you spam with the Tech 9, it has so many bullets in it. First of all, spam around the head and you're probably going to get 1 or 2 headshots. We've seen that happen many times. Secondly, as 3 guys are running into you, suddenly we've got a weapon where you can move and spam all the bullets and get lots of them into them and do tons of damage. And yet it doesn't cost that much. It's $500 again, guys, to do massive amounts of damage to the enemy. With the 5.7, they either need to make it something like, I'd cut the bullet size in half. I'd have half as many bullets in a normal clip. And secondly, moving accuracy should go way down, so it should encourage firing towards the head, or if you're going to spam, you have to be immobile while doing it. There's a big problem when you have 3 or more pistols that do more damage to someone's head who has armor on than a fucking Colt, the main rifle of the CTs, does. A headshot from a Colt doesn't kill you in a lot of these scenarios. Headshot from some of these pistols I'm describing kills you instantly. Well, now you're gambling to just go for bullshit headshots. You're allowing people a gambling element where they can get an advantage over a skilled weapon that takes skill to use and requires actual aim and technique to get these kills with. Moving while shooting in general across these pistols, you'll notice, is a huge issue. The more you move, the less accurate it should become. The more you move, the harder it should be to get headshots. The more you move, the harder it should be to get a kill. Remember, the Glock is the main weapon you're going to move and fire with. Well, you move and fire with the Deagle as well, but you have to fire very slowly to do so. With the Glock, you can spam a lot and move, but you're going to be very inaccurate. You're going to have to use teamwork to get the kill. You're going to have to use element of surprise to get the kill. That's not what's going on with these pistols. It spoils the economical aspect of the game, because now you can't rely on being able to do the proper setups and get these things, because a bullshit lottery headshot can kill you and just take that away. And now you can't play certain positions in the way that you should be able to and crush the terrorists when they've got these bad ecos. It's spoiling that aspect. Now, you might say to me, but yeah, this existed before, remember when Nip and Very Games in the early days of CSGO used to, on the second round, buy armor and pistols. Yeah, they bought pistols that you had to aim and you had to use skill to get headshots with, and that you actually had to use coordination and timing of when to attack, because if you got long range with him and this guy had a FAMAS and armor, he's just going to pick you apart and you're not going to be able to close the distance. You're not going to be able to get the kill onto him. If he has a nade and a flash when he sees you coming from miles away, you're totally neutralized. You're pushed back, you're taking damage, you're not even getting shots off on them yet. This really wasn't imbalanced in any sense. That's why we saw a lot of solid CT rounds in the way that they should be when the terrorists don't have the economy and don't have a good tactic and don't have enough raw skill to outskill someone who has a weapon that's better than them, more armor. Now, you might say, didn't the SMG buff counter this? No, the SMG buff just made this nightmare world between a rifle and between one of these Imba pistols, where now we've got another set of weapons that are really strong and that encourage more gambling and more half-buying, as though we wanted to encourage that even more. And remember, encourage it when you don't have a plan, you don't have any coordinated strategy that you're going to use, and you don't have just more skill that you know, like, okay, well, we can afford to give this guy a weapon that's less powerful than a rifle, but because he's so insanely skilled that if we get him in the right spot, he can outskill this guy who's got the rifle. We're talking about in even skill situations, this now can be a problem for the rifle guy. It didn't buff it, and secondly, yeah, it buffed as in CTs can use, or terrorists, can use it on anti-eco and they're going to have a stronger weapon. Great. Here's the problem though. The majority of these pistol problems that we see aren't on rounds where the other person has an SMG. So the buff no longer exists. The majority of the pistol problems with the Tech 9, the CZ, the 5.7 is when the other team have full rifles. So the SMG buff doesn't help us in any sense there. Now people will say, but it makes the game more exciting when these pistol rounds can go that way. What a base reason to fuck up the whole competitive integrity of the game, of how skilled of how much skill is required to get kills, of the balance between the weapons. And so as a result, you know, if a USP in 1.6 beats out an AK in 1.6, then you know, wow, that was an outplay. That was that skill out there. You can't always know that when you see a Tech 9 rush up close onto a guy with a Colt. You don't really know that whatsoever. You don't even know if he aimed the bullet that killed him. You'd have to have seen from his point of view, and even then, probably not, because he's probably just spamming, moving, closing the distance, and he's going to get the kill inevitably or die himself. It's not the same even quotient of knowing what skill is related to how many kills and what kill did you get the situation did you get the kill in. In terms of the balance that's now given to maps, okay, the great thing about the Tech 9 is it's a T-side weapon. People are using it on T-side and they're getting more rounds, right? Everyone complained, I didn't, but everyone complained at the end of 2014 about that heavy CT meta. Well, now we're getting more T-side rounds, right? No, we're getting fake, artificial T-side balance because we have a super overpowered weapon that destroys CT defenses, but for very little money. And when you just buy it, spam it, rush, you're just giving them free rounds. Well, I mean, if you're going to have stupid artificial balance like that, well, if you want more T rounds, fuck it. Terrorists just start 2-0 up. There we go. There's more T rounds. Is that good for you? Has that helped take away the CT meta? No, it's fucking stupid, obviously. And this idea that it's more exciting, what does that even mean at this point? I only want excitement related to skill. I don't mind risk, but risk must be related to skill. Properly reading the game, knowing when to take a chance, setting up the chance, using coordination, tactics, timing on when to attack. These are the things that excitement should come from if you can pull them off. It shouldn't just be automatically skill for no reason. Okay, here's an exciting change to the game. There's a pistol that has a homing bullet on it. But only one of the 7 bullets in the clip is the homing bullet, okay? And you can only fire it once in the round. And so on a save round, you buy this pistol that has the homing bullet in. And normal bullets are just like normal bullets, okay? But then you know that when you attack the enemy, even if he has an AWP, even if he has a Colt, he's got the spot. If you just spam away, then if you're lucky, the first bullet might be the homing bullet. It might go straight to his head and you might get the kill. Or the first bullet might be at the end. The homing bullet might be at the end and he might spam 6 and get killed. Oh, the excitement, guys. Will he get the kill? Won't he get the kill? Oh, imagine how this will turn rounds around, because every now and then in a big, huge match where this team's totally money fucked and they're going to be having a save next round, they all run in with this homing pistol that I've got, and you know what, the first bullet for everyone's the homing one. They kill 3 people and they get the guns. Yeah, we've broken the economy. Isn't that exciting? No, that's exactly the opposite of what you want in a competitive scene. It doesn't require skill. It encourages gambling and buying it constantly and trying to abuse one style of play. It ruins CT economy when they've built up an aspect and now they should have a chance to have a strong round and set up a strong defense and shut something down and plan for the next round. It ruins all of that and it gives a fake balance to whatever situation you're trying to even up in that sense. It's not your job as the developer to even things up so that really skilled players can no longer beat players who are less skilled than them in certain situations. If it's super biased in a certain sense, odds are that's because really skilled players know how to use that, know what they're doing there, and are dominating in that fashion. That's not the case with these Tech 9s and pistols and all this sort of thing here. Just making more of a random element. Yes, a team like Envy looks like they just abuse it and do that. That's because that's the most obvious tool. Take it away, they'll still be a very good team. They'll still be one of the top 2 or 3 in the world. They'll still win events. They don't need this. This isn't a good thing within the community that these things exist. Lastly, I mean, there was a great video about this. Maybe I'll link it if I can find the link. Aside from the OP pistols, it's a problem in general that moving while firing is too encouraged within CSGO because the spread isn't enough to make it bad that people gamble on doing it. And secondly, the second key factor that this video makes the point of is that firing really slowly in an accurate, technique, target-driven manner, as I talked about in 1.6 was the main way you fired pistols, is so weak in comparison to that aspect that you're encouraged to gamble the other way. And that's not the way pistol play should be ideally. We want pistols, because most of the game, except the pistol round, pistols are being used in scenarios where your pistol is weaker than his weapon, which is going to be a real gun. Therefore, to get kills with it, we want you to have to use even more skill than him. And yes, we want the ceiling to be enough where if you do a crazy amount of skill, you can beat him. But otherwise, mainly we want the pistols to just be doing damage to him, not killing him if you're not being incredibly skilled. And yes, if you get multiple pistols together, maybe you can kill him by virtue of 3v1ing or 3v2ing someone or having a nade as well. Yeah, this is all great, that's fine. It's when one pistol going head to head with one rifle doesn't require that much skill to kill the rifle and get his rifle and essentially suddenly become someone with a rifle in that scenario. That's the problem in this scenario. So we should have more of an emphasis on, if you're moving, accuracy goes way down, maybe power even goes down. If you're standing still, accuracy, power at the tops, but it requires a lot of skill and aim. It requires a lot of aim to kill people. This is the kind of dynamic we want to go towards with pistols. Because at the moment, it's destroyed the economic aspect, destroyed the skill aspect. It's giving fake balance to certain maps. And it's making it so that less skilled players are getting these random boosts that even they can't control. Random boosts and fluctuations to the game, which might be exciting in the most base sense to other people, but actually spoils the excitement of the true brilliance of competition and seeing who the most skilled is and seeing how to read the game and time it properly. You can't read when a certain CZ rush is going to come around the corner and just bang your head in and you don't know what the fuck's going on. They just gambled and bought and they didn't even know what they were doing or where you would be set up. That's not a good situation for anyone.